Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of X Malice, along Mineo and Enomoto's route. And we're talking to his former superior, learning some stuff about his past, and hopefully that'll help us get along with him and help him get through things. So let's hear the rest of this story. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story.
Before we'd finished analyzing the April video, Enomoto told us all Fuji was one of the captives. That's Detective Fuji. I'm sure of it. I'd never mistake him for someone else. Never. Satake, we can't be sitting on our hands assuming that this is a prank. Hurry up and open negotiations, or else he'll... But the higher-ups didn't move right away. The name Adonis hadn't come up yet, and the only evidence was a grainy internet video. It still had a chance of being a tasteless prank.
Did anyone really think Fuji would participate in that?
Only once Fuji and the other Shinjuku officers fell off the grid did the investigation finally get underway. Delaying initial investigation was a crucial error. We made no progress until May.
When the officers were executed on video?
Yeah. Of course the police couldn't stay quiet now that one of their own had been killed. Ironically, that video upload galvanized the efforts of the entire police force. We wanted to find the scene and catch the killer. Both Enomoto and I were desperate to find them.
I heard a little about the discovery of the body, but not much else. There were only bloodstains of the other officers, aside from Fuji.
Enomoto found those. The video analysis was running into problems, so he ran all over the place trying to find them. He didn't eat or sleep. It was like his soul was fueled by his tenacity, like he'd changed into a ghost. In the station, people said that if it was really the work of Adonis, then we were too late. But he's the only one who wouldn't give up. I'll never forget what happened 5 days after the video went online. I found Enomoto, standing in a room that reeked of blood, looking like a corpse himself.
Oh.
Enomoto? Why? I know how you feel, but we must secure the area. Can you do that, Enomoto? Can't be. Enomoto. It can't be, right?
Oh. Poor thing.
It's a lie. I won't accept this. No way. After that, Enomoto was driven by his hatred of the killers. That cheerful idiot showed a side of himself you'd never guess existed. He dove into the investigation without talking to me or the other guys in field ops. And then he submitted his resignation right before July.
During the middle of the investigation?
It wasn't completely without warning. While he chased the shadow of Fuji's murder, he'd started to change. For some reason, all that ferocity, passion, and anger disappeared. When I asked him if it was because he couldn't avenge Fuji, he gave me a horribly forced laugh and said, "What are you talking about, Satake? I haven't given up. I couldn't possibly give up." And then he quit the police.
Enomoto acted like the office's mood maker, but I never guessed that his past was like this. After all, he laughed all the time.
That's all I can tell you about the crimes that happened then. If you want to unravel these murders, then you'll need to get it out of Enomoto. He acts tough, and might not want to talk about it. If you use our discussion to try and coax something out of him, feel free to blame it on me. He'll be suspicious of you for knowing all this.
Yes, I know. No, I'm the one that asked you for all this information.
Forget about it.
What are you, a New Yorker?
I'm old. I like to tell stories. I can't lend you a direct hand, but I think Enomoto should still feel something about those crimes. This approach might not be the most straightforward, but please give it a shot. Young lady, help Enomoto. Please.
I'll do my best. Satake bowed to me. Enomoto doesn't trust people anymore, because of Fuji's death. It hurts to be betrayed by someone you trust. So maybe he thought that he was better off not placing his trust in anyone. But that's just too sad. I haven't been very helpful yet, and he hasn't acknowledged me. But I'll show Enomoto that I can be a partner that has his back. I declared my determination, and Satake stared at me, taken aback. Then...
If that works out, you'll make a daring duo. When you told me that you were involved with Enomoto, I wondered. I'm glad we talked, young lady. I'm sure you'll be able to release the shackles binding Enomoto.
If he lets me... Satake handed me a note with his contact information written on it.
If you have a question, or if you want me to light a fire under Enomoto's ass, give me a call.
Yes, do the latter. That sounds like fun. I think you might need a kick in the seat anyway.
Oh, give him a good punch.
Okay. That was tense, but I'm glad I was able to get Satake to talk. I'd finally taken a step toward discovering the truth. Phew, thank goodness. May victim added to materials. December 9th, 6 p.m. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help. I bowed to Satake and watched him leave. I quickly wrapped up all my SRCPO work and went to gather information at the abandoned building where Fuji's body was found. Should I be here alone, really? However, it had been over 6 months since the murder, and attacks were now happening all over Shinjuku. It made sense that I didn't learn anything which other investigations hadn't already uncovered. But this is all I can do right now. I contemplated whether speaking to Enomoto would be helpful. That's how I ended up doing this research. Enomoto might not want to go and check out the scene himself, so I have to gather that intel here. In any case, I had to act. Then, someone called my name.
Hoshino?
Eh? When I turned, I saw Yanagi. What are you doing here? Thank you for your hard work.
Yeah, if you're here, then.
Yes, I'm gathering information on the cases. What about you?
I just came from another crime scene. I see Enomoto isn't with you.
Not a lot of foot traffic comes through this area. I'll be fine on my own.
It never hurts to have extra help when you're interviewing witnesses. If you're having trouble finding him, I can...
Please don't call him. I didn't mean to raise my voice, and I quickly looked down. I'm sorry, but I really will be fine.
You sound like you don't want to have him here with you.
I don't want to traumatize him.
I can tell from your face that you know why Enomoto is connected to these cases.
I hung my head. He had seen right through me, just like Satake had. Am I that easy to read? Yes, for God's sake, everyone tells you that already.
Well, yeah. Though Enomoto is easier to read.
That doesn't make me feel better. He laughed. That was a slight surprise. I had never really seen Yanagi laugh before. As you noticed, I heard about Enomoto from Detective Satake.
I see. Satake was rather worried about how Enomoto has been doing.
A little while ago, Sasazaka scolded Enomoto for not investigating the cases. It had been nagging me since then, but I'd never imagined he had that kind of past. I'm Enomoto's partner. I have to help him when he's suffering. Yanagi?
No, I'm glad that you ended up as his partner. Did Satake tell you about what happened after Enomoto quit?
No, he didn't.
If you want to know more about your partner, then I want you to hear this.
Do I have to hear about him from everybody else? I don't get anything straight from the horse's mouth? Well, he is pretty shy, so I think it would be tough to get anything out of him. Yanagi looked straight into my eyes. It felt like he was sizing up my conviction to know the truth. Please, tell me.
All right, let's have this conversation back at the office.
Are you sure? Because he could come into the office at any time, you know. Understood. Enomoto wasn't at the office, and Sasazaka was working on something at his own seat.
I'll make something to drink. Just have a seat.
Okay. I sat down on the sofa, thinking things about Enomoto. What happened after he quit the police? Satake said that Enomoto quit the police when his passion for investigation faded. But he still had strong feelings about the murders.
Thanks for waiting.
Yanagi set a cup of hot cocoa down on the table and sat across from me.
Satake helped me out when I was with Investigation Section 1. That said, I hadn't seen him since I quit the force, but I got a call from him in mid-September. Somehow, he found out that I was independently investigating X-Day crimes and asked me for a favor.
A favor? You mean?
Yeah, he wanted me to look after someone. He said that person would definitely be helpful. So I took Enomoto in. Helpful. He's just been baggage so far. Even the stupid cat is doing better than him.
Sasazaka interrupted with a characteristically ruthless critique of Enomoto.
I'd interacted with Enomoto during our time in the police. He wasn't a stranger to me, so I accepted him if he had the will to work, but... Enomoto won't go near the X-Day crimes, but he isn't completely running away either. He still has some lingering attachment to them. If he didn't, he would have turned me down.
I thought that I would pursue the case on my own now that I knew Enomoto's past. But once I heard the whole story, I began to doubt my decision to avoid reopening old wounds. Even if it pained him, a part of Enomoto still wanted to face the truth. As his partner, what can I do?
Hoshino, it's important to understand how you can contribute. But it's just as important to know what you want to do. You're Enomoto's partner after all.
What I want to do? Yanagi and Sasazaka both left the office to investigate something, leaving me by myself. What should I do? Satake said that Enomoto was afraid of becoming involved with the murders, but so was I. Why am I worried? Even though I decided to join this investigation, the fear of death hounds me even now. A mistake or a slip of the tongue could get me killed. I don't want to die. Yeah, but if you don't solve the case by then, you're going to die. There were still so many things I wanted to try. I didn't want my life to end here. What's the difference between Enomoto and I? I was new to the police. I didn't really excel at anything, and I didn't have any achievements to be particularly proud of. And I was facing Adonis, a terrorist organization. But still. I'll stand up to them. I don't want to give up. No matter how desperate the situation was, giving up would mean the end. As long as I struggled, I could still do this. It was still more hopeful than resignation was. Enomoto was here because he doesn't want to give up either. I wonder if we can fight side by side, as partners. While I was thinking, the door suddenly opened.
Phew, sure is cold tonight, but I'm glad I got those discount bean sprouts. Yanagi, we can enjoy some bean sprouts in our ramen tonight. Ugh, Hoshino, what are you doing here? I don't have enough ramen for you.
Well, it's just you and me, so screw the other guys. And really, that's your first thought? That's fine. I didn't come here to have any ramen. Wait, so while we were talking about him this whole time, he...
What's with the scary look? Tonight I'm showing off Chef Mineo's gourmet ramen to Yanagi. Hey, where's everyone else?
If you mean Yanagi and Sasazaka, they went out on an investigation a bit ago.
Ugh, seriously? I went through the trouble of getting these sprouts.
I didn't really understand why, but Enomoto looked depressed as he clutched the supermarket bag. He really wanted to show them his cooking skills. He seemed like a cheerful person before, but now... I couldn't help but feel there was something still burdening his heart. You could show me your cooking skills?
Well, whatever. I'll stick this in the fridge.
Watching him trudge over to the refrigerator, I steeled myself and spoke to Enomoto. Actually, today, I talked to Detective Satake and Yanagi about you.
Huh?
They told me all your secrets. Enomoto stopped in his tracks and clumsily turned around. Oh, it wasn't like I was trying to pry into her past. I had Sakuragawa introduce me to someone who was familiar with the April and May murders. And that led me to Satake. Even if it was inevitable, He could be angry at me for snooping in his private affairs. If I handled this poorly, he could reject me even more than he was before.
I see. Well, there's no helping it if it's Satake.
Huh?
Satake is the best guy to ask about what happened. Sakuragawa would obviously point you to him. I figure you'd find out more about me eventually if you were set on chasing those crimes.
Really?
How much do you know? Well, probably everything if you talk to him.
I don't know if I learned everything. I heard about your relationship to the victim, Fuji, and about the way you behaved.
So he even told you the worthless details.
He's awfully calm.
Then you know. I'm really lame for running away, right?
No, that was wrong. Enomoto's usual stout-hearted demeanor was now hidden under a self-deprecating smile.
Detective Fuji, caught by Adonis, had all the dirty stuff he did exposed, and then he paid for it with his life. You know, at first, I did my damnedest to try and prove his innocence. That guy, a dirty cop? It wasn't possible. I had faith in him. It had to be a mistake. But the more I looked, the more real his crimes became, until I ran into solid evidence that I just had to finally accept.
Enomoto.
You see, Detective Fuji was super cool. He was fired up. He had his own sense of justice. He was my paragon of justice.
In that voice longing for the past, I could hear indescribable regret.
But he was executed for being evil.
Enomoto whispered in an emotionless voice.
I'll never forgive Fuji's killer. Those feelings won't change. But on a personal level, I have no idea what justice means to me anymore.
Enomoto looked lost. He cast his eyes downward. To Enomoto, justice was something he had created for himself to uphold, and now it was the source of his pain. Justice. I don't mind if you take advantage of me, not if it helps us protect the citizenry of Shinjuku. That's my idea of justice.
Fine. So that's your form of justice.
Perhaps he had looked so depressed back then because of his fixation on the idea of justice.
So, do you get it now?
Huh? When I looked back up at Enomoto, he was rummaging around in the refrigerator. He closed the door. His voice was cheery, but he wore a pained smile.
Even if you want to work with me, it's pointless. I'm not going to be able to help out. I said a lot of proud things to you. Sorry. In the end, this is who I really am.
Wait, what do you...
I'm sure Yanagi will assist you if you ask him. It'd be better for you to switch to another crime.
What are you talking about? You're not investigating, I have to do it for you. Enomoto, listen to me.
So, just leave me alone.
No, I refuse. Enomoto finished in a low voice and left the room with an air of finality. I couldn't say anything to stop him. It wasn't my intention to put him through such pain. Even if it was too much for him to bear alone, couldn't he accept my support and we'd share the burden together? I come here to offer that option. To me, Enomoto is... Of all the people in the office, he seemed somehow like the one I could talk to most as an equal. The back that had carried me to the office and up the stairs had felt large and reliable. At this rate, nothing will change. Enomoto had been betrayed by someone he trusted, and they would never meet again. He was still wallowing in despair. The important question is, what do I want to do? Obviously, we gotta chase after him. Can't leave this be. I have to follow him. I stood up and ran out of the office. I don't know why we let him go in the first place. It hadn't been that long since Enomoto had left the office, but I couldn't see him anywhere. Is that him calling me or me calling him? I quickly took out my phone and tried to call him. He's not answering. Ah, you bum. I've made up my mind, but that wouldn't mean anything if he was gone. I have to find him. I focused on looking at the shops and places he was likely to kill time at, but he's nowhere to be found. At this rate, I felt guilty for interrupting him, but I called Yanagi, who was likely to know where Enomoto went. Or not.
Hoshino, what's wrong?
I'm sorry, but Enomoto left the office. Please, tell me if you know where he might have gone off to.
I see. He might be at that park.
A park?
Yeah, it's a park that sits in between our office and the police station. When Enomoto goes out for no reason, he usually hangs out around there.
Thank you. I'll check there. I hung up the phone and started running. Why does this feel so dire at the moment? As I neared the park, I saw a familiar figure's shape from behind. Enomoto!
Where are you? Did you follow me?
Yes, there's something I must talk to you about.
Sorry, I've got nothing to say.
Then just listen. Enomoto curtly dismissed my line of conversation and turned away. Get back here.
It's dangerous for a woman to be out this late. I won't walk you home, so be careful.
Alright, now you're just being a jerk. Again and again, Enomoto refused to face his problems and turned away. He did this time too. Please, wait! That's right, grab him. I ran after Enomoto and grabbed his arm so that he wouldn't just escape.
Hey, let go.
No! If I do, you'll just turn your back on me again, won't you?
So what if I do? It's none of your business.
It's absolutely my business. I'm your partner, aren't I?
Huh. I just said that in the heat of the moment. I played along because you were so persistent.
Never mind the details. I'm your partner now, so I can't just abandon you.
What the heck? I don't know if your pity is real or not, but you're such a compassionate police officer.
I know that I may not be able to completely empathize with your pain, but when you're feeling unsure or afraid, I can be by your side, backing you up. I will never ever betray you.
You must be an idiot. As if I could believe those words.
Enomoto tried to suddenly pull his arm free of my grasp, but I expected it and stubbornly held on. No one can be expected to live while everyone knows all their secrets. That's why people lie. Maybe their greed gets the better of them. But I don't want you to decide that you can't trust anyone at all ever again.
Why? Why do you care so much? Who cares what happens to me? There's plenty of other people you can work with.
You are my partner, Enomoto.
Get a grip.
I have one, on your arm.
I'll never accept you as my partner, because you might be connected to the criminals.
You're lying.
Huh?
You're not avoiding me because you're suspicious of me.
What exactly are you on? I really meant it when I said that I won't forgive you if you're part of Adonis.
That part might be true, but you actually do want to believe that I'm innocent, don't you?
And what proof do you have?
It's not that you don't believe me. You're just afraid of being betrayed by someone you trust. I will never betray you. Even if it takes time, I'll prove to you that I have nothing to do with those criminals.
Prove? How? Anyone can say that.
I know, but I don't want to give up. I don't want to run from this fight for the form of justice that I uphold. I won't give up on you.
An idiot with a one-track mind who doesn't give up once he's made up his mind. That's how Satake described me once, and it's the only thing you have going for you. It's like, I'm looking in a mirror. You look like me a long time ago. I don't think about useless details, and just focus on what's in front. I tried my hardest at everything.
Enomoto.
You're going to disturb the neighbors yelling at me like that.
I don't care. I'm sorry, but I couldn't help it given the circumstances.
You ran after me, gasping for air, and now you won't let go of my arm. You really are an idiot.
What?
But I'm glad you followed me. Thanks.
With that, Enomoto smoothly disengaged his arm from my hand. I quietly watched him walk away. No, don't let him get away now. As he left, he smiled sadly, as if recalling something from the past. Did any of my feelings make it through to Enomoto? If I could help him claw his way out of the depths of his despair, I would keep extending my hand to him, no matter how many times he brushed me off. I had renewed my determination. That felt like a good place to break, but it's too early. Are we gonna get things from his point of view?
This is... I've always avoided this place, so how did I end up here? Hoshino is going to give me an earful. Nothing good could come from working with her. The justice she wants to protect, huh? Did I used to have that much passion? Who's there?
Ah, what a coincidence. December 9th, 10 p.m. I'm late. I wonder if Kazuki ate dinner. As I worried about Kazuki, I saw him talking to an unfamiliar man when I arrived at my house. Is it this musician? That looks like a musician to me. See you at the studio tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it.
Where have I seen that man before? Oh, come on, I figured it out on first look. In any case, it wasn't appropriate for him to be hanging around a high school student this late. It'll be too late once something happens. I have to nip this in the bud now. Excuse me. Ugh, Ichika. Oh, don't sound so disgusted.
Who are you?
I'm Kazuki's sister, Ichika Hoshino. The strange man slapped his fist into his palm, as if he'd suddenly made a mental connection.
That's right. I think Akito mentioned something about you having an older sister, Kazuki.
So he knows Akito, too. But that doesn't make me feel better. This guy's even got lip piercings. There you go, judging a book by its cover.
A pleasure to meet you. I'm Yasuhiro Ishiki. Kazuki and I are in the same band.
Oh, Mr. Ishiki? Akito had mentioned his name. He had been mistakenly arrested in the past. I never imagined I'd be bumping into him like this. To think that Kazuki would actually know someone famous enough to be on TV. This is all a little bit too convenient, don't you think? I couldn't tell from a distance, but now that I was up close, he was definitely the guy from TV. I believe he was introduced as the vocalist of a visual K band. Hey, this isn't the sideshow. Stop staring at Mr. Ishiki. Is Kazuki gonna have to start dressing like that in the band? I'm sorry,
Being watched is part of the job. Don't worry about it.
His appearance was flamboyant, but Ishiki seemed to be a composed young man in person. So, you're in a band, Kazuki? You could have just told me. Huh? Why do I have to tell you every single detail of my life? It's not like you care. That's not... Don't suddenly pretend to be my big sister now. You're just annoying me. Kazuki was being unusually harsh. I couldn't think of anything to say to him when...
Miss Hoshino.
Yes?
Come hear Kay play next time. He's really cool.
Ishiki smiled, and that seemed to alleviate the tension in the situation. Yeah, I'd like to see that sometime. Kazuki's eyes widened in surprise, but he immediately turned away again. Every time Kazuki goes out at night, he takes his guitar with him. And you didn't pick up that hint? I thought he was just having fun, but he was actually practicing in his band. That a professional was praising him was proof that Kazuki was working hard. Mr. Ishiki, please take good care of Kazuki.
I should ask the same of you. Thank you.
Ishiki returned my sentiments, bowed politely, and left. He feels very mysterious. He changes when he's singing. After that one comment in passing, Kazuki quickly went inside. Hey, don't leave me behind when we're in the middle of a conversation. I rushed after him. That's Kazuki for you. On the way in, I asked Kazuki if he was hungry. He quietly nodded. Well, that's some progress, a little bit. Thinking that he'd like something hot, I made pot au feu, or something like that. Pot au feu, although I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, because it's not a French word, I think. Want to talk? Kazuki ate in total silence, without uttering a single word. Not even a thank you, huh? Our meals usually went this way, but now I knew about his band. I wanted to talk about that today at least. Hey, Kazuki, What kind of music do you play with Mr. Ishiki? He's a visual kei performer, so are you similar in style? Oh, right. How old is he anyway? He's definitely not high school age. He couldn't attend school with that hairdo. When I rapidly asked all the questions I had. Shut up! Who cares? I do. That's why I'm asking. You don't have to talk to me like that. Dispirited, I recalled what Kazuki had complained about to me before. You don't care about what I do. You just tell me I'm too loud. From Kazuki's point of view, I've been an obstacle to his pursuit of music. Of course, I never intended such a thing. I wanted to support him however I could. Kazuki continued to eat, unaware of what I was thinking. He looked like he just wanted to finish and go into his room as quickly as possible. So what? Has this whole problem stemmed from, me wanting quiet one day or something, probably? Or did I constantly hound him to be quiet all the time? Elaborate, please! Inquiring minds want to know. But oh well, we'll finish up with this sibling dispute in the next episode. So I hope to see you there or in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.